we are in for a feast. That's why we gathered so many people. We've got Don and Robert Bowling, the owners of Wild Diamond Vineyard, and Dumb Luck.
Yes.
And we've got Chef Jon and Arbel, and they're going to prepare wonderful food for us. I guess I should start with the chef. What are we preparing today?
All right, so we are pairing with the Cabernet Franc,
Yeah.
and I have a sous vide pork sirloin that I'm going to be searing off in some safflower oil.
Okay.
With some other beautiful components.
Okay. And why the Cab Franc with this particular dish?
So this Cab Franc especially, to me, has so many of the true flavors of the Cab Franc. You know, it's really hard to make a great Cab Franc, and they made beyond great Cab Franc. So we had to pair it. We just absolutely had to. There's so many layers and levels to this wine too. A bit of richness, a lot of elegance, a lot of violet, really smooth, lingering finish that's going to tuck you into bed at night. It's
Wow.
Yeah, so I want to do something
like
really
that
special and
description.
really
Yeah, I
fun.
know.
I have to take a taste now after all
Yes,
that,
yes.
right?
You know, it's not. Cab Franc, especially this beautiful one, is definitely medium to big bodied, so it's not too big, but it has some of that richness that just really wants to cut the fat.
Right.
So of course we wanted to serve a little bit of pork with that.
Sounds great. You heard this wonderful description of your wonderful Cab Franc. How does that make you feel?
Well, we've always known that it was excellent wine.
Yeah.
When we bought the vineyard, we knew that the Cab Franc grapes had won Best of at the San Francisco Chronicle competition a couple
Before
years
we- yeah.
before we bought.
Yeah.
So we knew, and we were excited about this particular grape.
You know, the thing is that's fun, like to answer your question directly though, you know, taste is so subjective, you don't know. You know what you like, but you don't know if it's going to be popular among others. So it's vindication, you know, when you realize that it's really not just you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's got to feel great though to know that others like it too.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes. You told us we were onto something.
Oh, so what are you putting in the pan there?
All right, so we're searing off the pork really well, and now we have some local, really fun summer squash, all the different varieties.
Yes.
Just a really soft vegetable that has a really nice flavor when you caramelize it, especially with good amount of aromatics in it. A little bit of shallot and a little bit of local garlic.
Outstanding.
That sounds like a combination of flavors to me that would go really nicely with this Cab Franc.
It's a very complex wine.
Yeah.
And it just has such a wonderful finish that I think that people aren't talking about enough. That finish is incredible. So we want to pair something that contrasts and compares with that finish as well.
Now, we already know from tasting that what's inside this bottle is delicious. But I want to ask you, Don, about the label.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty interesting. I mean,
Yes.
is there a story behind this?
Yes, there is. You know, when we first started talking about creating a label for this wine, we decided we wanted the label to reflect our personalities. And we talked about it and we said, you know, when we're trying to experience food or wine, and we go to a restaurant, the first thing I do is, like, people will recommend a restaurant and they say, the food's amazing. I said, but what about the ambiance? Because to me, the ambiance is part of the entire experience.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
so I pull up pictures of the restaurant's interior. I want to see, what does it look like inside? Because to me, I want to walk in and I want to go, oh, this is going to be fun. It's yummy. It's yummy. You know, I want to experience the whole package. So to me, I wanted to create a label that would make people go, oh, this is going to be yummy.
Exactly.
You know, this looks lovely. This looks
It's
elegant,
inviting, it's elegant. Yeah.
exquisite. And so that's what we tried to do.
Got it.
To me, that meant having a lot of soft golds, jewel tones. For every varietal, we used a different jewel tone.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
For Cab Franc, we used a purple. For our Cab Sauv, we used a deep burgundy. For our Merlot, we used a really rich blue. But we tried to use jewel tones because we felt like they popped and they were just, we like the richness because the wine is rich and it's consistent with what you see here when you're touring the vineyard.
And now, speaking of colors, I am totally distracted by the colors
Yeah.
of these tomatoes. So tell me what you're doing here, Chef.
All right, so I'm going ahead and I'm slicing some heirloom cherry tomatoes in half.
Right.
you know, the wine isn't sweet, but there are some sweet tones to it.
Right.
And so I think it's a little bit of cherry tomato in the sauce will really bring out those sweet
man.
tones
Yeah.
as well.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
So we actually fire roasted a jalapeno fresh.
Oh, wow.
One thing you notice about Cabernet Francs is that there is a kind of peppery taste to it, whether it's a
Right.
red bell pepper or a pink peppercorn.
Sure.
This one to me was just crying out for something with roasted jalapenos.
Yeah.
Nothing too spicy.
get it.
So, rule of thumb,
Yeah.
closer to the stem, spicier it is.
Oh, yes. Right.
Closer to the bottom,
Oh.
milder it is too.
Didn't know that.
Got
Didn't
it.
know that.
I like spicy, but I think the pairing would go well with mild.
Okay. I like spicy too. I'm with you there. But you are right about the pairing. he's right about a lot of things. That's why he's on our show.
Thank you.
Well, mild is always safe when you don't need a crown.
Yeah. Now your other label, the Dumb Luck label, is interesting and artistic as well. Very different from your Wild Diamond label.
Right.
How did you decide on that design?
Well, we wanted it to appeal more to millennials because we thought the name was a little more whimsical and more youthful.
Right.
And so we decided to have a little more fun with it. In fact, you'll see in a couple of spots on the label we use the phrase "get lucky,"
Yeah.
and we even have that on the cork.
Yeah.
You know, and we did a fun pattern with that. And we actually didn't realize how fun and beautiful the label was until we got to the public tasting after the San Francisco Chronicle competition.
Right.
And so many people came up to us and said, "Oh my goodness, this is the most beautiful label. Did you enter it in the label competition?" And we said, "What label competition?"
Didn't know there was a label competition.
But we received a lot of compliments on our label, so we're very proud of that, and and we'll keep trying to improve and come up with something even more fun and different every time.
And there was a bit of luck in your story, right? In
Absolutely.
Your journey from being attorneys to vintners.
Yes.
Yes.
A lot of serendipity.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really comical because Robert, as we talked about earlier, had been looking at vineyards for quite some time and had been asking me, can we please pursue buying a vineyard, et cetera, and I was the reluctant party. But years pass, we have children, they get older, and my son and I, when he is in college, decide to travel to visit my best friend from childhood in Missouri. It's a football weekend, and his college is playing her local college.
Oh, one second. What's going in that pan next?
Okay, so we are done with the vegetables. We have a really nice, beautiful Sierra Belle put on these.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
My mouth's watering. I'm ready.
Sorry, Don. I just
I'm ready.
Okay.
Spoons straight to plate. Right now, I'm going ahead and I'm cooking those tiny bit of garlic with the roasted jalapeno and the cherry tomatoes down, and I'm simmering those down a little bit until they start to pop.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And now we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of creme fraiche
Okay.
Beautiful.
and just melt it on.
Are you
in there.
taking notes, hon?
Okay. I'm sorry. Now, back to the story.
No,
Your best friend.
sorry, my stories are too long.
No, it's all right.
So anyway, we go to visit her for the weekend, football
Yeah.
weekend, and we're driving along in the car. Robert calls us on the phone, and I say, "Robert, you won't believe this, but my friend here is pursuing a master's in
Enology.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
of course, which is winemaking."
Right.
And he said, "Oh my goodness, you won't believe this, but I've been sitting here looking at vineyard properties in California." He says, "Does this mean we can now buy a vineyard?" And I said, "Well, if it means that my best friend Tracy can participate and I can see her more often because
Yes.
she's so far away now, yes, of course." So that was the condition.
It was a perfect moment.
Okay, of course she's not involved yet, and she's got, she has children and she can't really be with us, but that was the triggering point, and that's what got us involved.
More of the dumb luck.
More,
More
more,
of the dumb
of the
luck.
more of the dumb
Oh
luck.
my
So
gosh.
it was sort of meant to be that we had to have a dumb luck label.
I love it.
So
So, at what point are we now in the food preparation?
All right, so we are just finishing up. So as you can see, the pork has been beautifully seared.
Yeah.
We sous vide it, so it's going to be very tender. Since Arbel did such a beautiful job on the sear, I don't want to put the sauce on top.
Okay.
I don't want to cover up that sear. So we had the creme fraiche, we melted it down, and now we're going to go ahead and
Because the visual appeal is part of the enjoyment of the food, right? So
Absolutely.
You don't want to miss seeing that beautiful sear.
I always think
no,
so.
the sear is so special.
As they say, searing is believing.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Ka-ching.
I couldn't help myself.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and slice
Wow.
a few more tomatoes to go around as well. Not just for the visual appeal, but because you have the cooked tomato against the fresh
Oh,
tomato.
yes,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
right.
Just really enjoy that.
Nice contrast there. In texture and in flavor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, brighten it up with some acidity, sweet acidity from the cherry tomatoes.
By the way, this wine is really opening up now.
Yeah.
It's been
Isn't
in the
it?
glass about 10 minutes, and already it's evolving into its next incarnation.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing how different it tastes too after just a few minutes, right?
Yeah, true.
Right.
It's smoother, it's more complex, so
It'll evolve for the next several days if we kept that bottle in the refrigerator.
amazing. And I can tell already what a food-friendly wine it is.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yes.
It's really hard narrowing down what I would pair with this wine because it's so versatile and it's so elegant and wonderful. I mean, you could have this. It holds up with a steak. You could.
Yeah.
You could easily do a steak with it. You could be adventurous and do a little bit of seafood if you want. Maybe some charred octopus or something really heavy and rich. But it's really a wonderfully made wine.
Cheers. Thank
Great,
you.
great fruit.
Thank you, Chef John. Thank you, Arbella.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Can't wait
Robert.
to try it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That plate
you.
looks so inviting. I think we're just going to have to eat some food and drink some wine here.
Absolutely.
Sounds
All
like
right.
a good plan.
Cheers.
Cheers.